So my name is Tyler Nelson. I'm the Director of Technical Career Services here at Southern Union.
And my name is Eric Sewell. I'm the Director of Technical Education here at Southern Union State Community College. And we're really excited to have y'all here today and be able to show you what all we have to offer.
So the first place we're going to begin is our Business Technology Center. The BTC, as we call it, houses our tutoring program, so our Student Success program, which is free. It doesn't cost anything to be tutored here at Southern Union, and it's a valuable resource, especially for our academic classes that you might find yourself struggling in early on. I took advantage of those when I was here at Southern Union, and it really did make all of the world of difference. Also within the BTC, if you need to take the AccuPlace or any other type of placement exam, that will be conducted here. We also house a lot of our business and our computer information classes here as well. And we also have our Southern Room, and that's where we host a lot of our larger events. So if you're ever invited to a large event here at Southern Union, typically we host those in our Southern Room. Anything else I need to add there?
All good.
All right, we're going to move on to healthcare. So this is our health sciences building. One cool thing about this building is that it doubles as an emergency hospital should anything catastrophic happen and EAMC be at their capacity. So we can always open this up and be an emergency hospital for those. And the great thing about that is that coming in that we have all of the facilities and the technologies available to you that you're going to see in industry when you graduate with that nursing degree. Also in this building, they teach the EMT program, so you can become an EMT. Also on our Valley campus, we have our physical therapy assistant program as well. Always looking to add new programs to our healthcare and to the rest of our programs as well, keeping industry and job availabilities in mind.
We're also looking to expand our student experience while on campus. If you see the blue cart right there, this is actually a little coffee bar you can be able to go to and get coffee and be able to eat sandwiches at lunch, things like that. So just trying to get more things for students to be able to do while they're here on campus. Yesterday, we just had Chick-fil-A that was on campus, being able to sell sandwiches. And then we have different food trucks and different catering services throughout the week to be able to allow students to have a great opportunity to get a good meal.
Absolutely. Great opportunities to find things to eat here. All right, next on the trip is our Higginbotham Academic Center. And this building houses all of our academic programs. So that math class, the English classes that you're going to need to take, all of those will be housed here inside that building. Even our technical programs require up to 5 academic courses in order to get that associate's degree. So everybody who attends Southern Union will find, if you take classes on the Opelika campus, you will eventually work your way into that Higginbotham Academic Center. Next up is our Learning Resources Center. That's our library, essentially. So this is where you're going to find the stacks. Also, it's where you can find study rooms. And you can utilize computers if you need to use one, if you don't have a personal computer readily available. You can check out digital and tangible resources, as well as whenever you do enroll here, this is also where you're going to get your ID made, your student ID. And what would we do without that sweet discount at CC's Pizza, right?
Our next building that we'll be going to is going to be our administrative building. The way to recognize this one will be the Gold Dome right off of Lafayette Parkway there. So when you come to campus, this is going to be where you're able to submit an application. It's also where you'll submit your ID and be able to also seek any assistance with financial aid, being able to fill out your FAFSA or your Pell Grant application. Our financial aid office is directly to the right within this building. And then we also have a VA representative that will be able to assist you and help with any type of benefits that you may be seeking if you choose to go into the military or if you're able to reap the benefits of your parents. So please make sure that you go by the financial aid office and see if there's any available scholarships or things like that that could be able to help make your time at Southern Union even less expensive. There's also the business office that is within that administrative building. So If you need any help knowing what your bill is or how you can be able to work towards paying that off, they'll be able to assist.
Yeah, so essentially remember, as soon as you've gotten ready to register for your classes, this needs to be the next stop that you make, because this is going to be where you pay for your classes, how you register for those. You can meet academic advisors here. You can meet the business people to help you pay for those classes. Also, we have financial aid. So everything's really a one-stop shop in this building after you've decided what you want to major in. Next up is our student union building. And one thing, like Eric mentioned, one of the big prerogatives that we have right now is to increase student life, to increase student activity on campus and to keep you on campus in between those classes. So we provide a lot of activities, a lot of things for you to indulge in while you're waiting on that next class to start. We have a cafeteria, the Sweet Onion. Also, we have recreational facilities in here. So we'll have a pool table, a ping pong table, some arcade machines, some study areas. I think there's a TV you can watch as well as some video games. And additionally, last but not least, the bookstore's in here. So if you needed to purchase a computer for your work here, or if you needed to, purchase books for your class, that'll be there as well. Also, some Southern Union swag that's offered as well, along with those Beat headphones and anything that you would need to really take your classes here at Southern Union.
Now the building that we've all been waiting for. This is our Center for Integrated Manufacturing. This houses the majority of our technical programs, with the exception of cosmetology that's on our downtown campus and industrial electricity that is on our Valley campus. When you enter into this 75,000 square foot facility, you're going to see some of the most state-of-the-art labs that you can be able to participate in when you go through our technical programs. We're really blessed to be able to have this facility to serve our community as well as the industries here locally.
Absolutely. So this building houses many of our technical programs. And with all of our technical programs, there is a lab-based component, meaning that there's a place for you to use hands-on learning. And we'll discuss each one of these programs as we go through. The first lab we're going to talk about today is our plastics injection molding, or plastics engineering technology, as it's been newly renamed.
My name is William Clifton. I teach plastics engineering technology here at Southern Union State Community College. Plastic touches someone's life every day in some way. We do automotive, we do medical, we do pharmaceutical, we do leisure equipment. The current demand right now in this area is extremely high. So I have more jobs than I have students to place in those opportunities. Most all of the factories nowadays are climate controlled, and so it makes it comfortable for the people to work in. It takes 5 full semesters to go through and get the associate's degree. Most companies have tuition reimbursement. You can go on and finish your 4-year degree. The average entry-level pay is a minimum of $20 an hour, and some start as high as $25. Traditional graduates from this program, after being in the industry 3 to 5 years, top out somewhere around the $30 to $32 an hour range. Plastics is a challenging opportunity. The world's evolving quickly. New technologies are coming in. The pay levels are extremely high. And the next step out of here is process engineering, and those jobs pay in the 6-figure range. People that would be interested in this program would be people that are highly intellectual. They want to do a lot of work with their mind, programming robots, making the parts good, a challenge every day, someone that's up for not only a challenge, but the rewards of those challenges.
And the first thing you'll notice whenever you come into one of our labs is that it's set up to really mimic and replicate everything you're going to see in industry. One thing that you'll notice on all the walls right here is a time clock. So students will punch in for attendance just as they would if they were going to work. And before we really get started into this program, I really want to talk to you a little bit about our work-based learning opportunities that are available in all of our technical programs. Once you've finished your first semester at Southern Union and you've completed, you have a 2.75 GPA or higher, and you've completed your math with a C or higher. We require Math 100 for most of our technical courses. Once you've got those things completed and you come with a good recommendation from your instructor, we can start you off in a paid internship. So that'll be paid in industry, working in the field that you're currently taking classes in. And that'll be a job that works around your school schedule and helps reinforce some of those skills that you're learning in class inside of industry. Now, this does a lot of different things for you. It gives you the opportunity to experience things in the work field. So you'll graduate with some experience, not just a degree. And that makes you very valuable in the workforce. But also it gives you a foot in the door to maybe a community, to maybe a company that you really wanted to be a part of, like Baxter or Cumberland or something like that. So great opportunities there. Now, coming up on the equipment that we have in this building, you'll see these two rather large injection molding machines. One of these is a Whitman Battenfield, and this is an Industry 4.0 enabled machine, meaning that it is cutting edge technology. In fact, this is so new, a lot of industry doesn't have this fully enabled in their companies yet. So one thing that you can kind of take away from that is we're training you on the technology of today and tomorrow. So when you enter into industry, you're prepared for everything that you come across. Okay. So Industry 4.0, just to kind of give you a little heads up on that, Industry 4.0 networks everything within the company so that the plant manager or the maintenance supervisor can access every machine from an iPad or some other digital device and see in real time what every device is doing, what it's done all day, what are some issues it's having, are there any error codes, things like that. And that links with everything else in the facility so that he can kind of get a good holistic view of what's going on. If you kind of notice up here, this is not originally part of the plastics injection molding machine. This is an added on robot. And both of these machines have those added on robots here. This Arberg machine is actually, this one was, it's on consignment, right? Okay, so we are the Southeast Training Center for Arberg, meaning that Arberg sends their people to us for them to be trained on their equipment. Moving around here, if you look up, you're going to be trained on how to utilize this 2-ton crane. And that's because these molds that you'll see right here, here's one, and then there's this huge pallet of them over here in the back. These things can weigh in excess of over 2,000 pounds. They don't look that large here, but in reality, that's a solid chunk of metal with just one void cut out to facilitate the product that's going to be molded. So if you look at those robots that we talked about just a moment ago that were attached to those plastics injection molding machines, those are in a precarious position because if you misprogrammed them, they could run into the machine, causing several hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. So what we do is we like to put the training wheels on first, and we'll put you on this robot, which is the exact same robot. It's plugged up to a virtual plastics injection molding machine, and this is where we teach you how to drive this robot and program it so that you know what you're doing whenever you come over here and program the robots attached to these. All right.
Within this program, you're not only going to learn about the plastic injection molding process, you're also going to get some of the basic industrial maintenance knowledge through learning about pneumatics and hydraulics, doing some troubleshooting and some basic PLCs. So it's really going to help you and be beneficial for you when you get out into the manufacturing environment to have a good understanding. You're not going to be dependent on other people to come and fix the small little minute problems that might be going on. You'll be able to accomplish that yourself and really be a very valued member of the team that you are on.
Absolutely. You're going to learn those robotics. You're going to learn how to program those things. You're going to learn pneumatics, hydraulics, and all of that stuff. So you're going to be a very valuable asset when you graduate. I guess now's a good time to kind of talk about how much money these guys or these gals make an hour. Again, I want to emphasize that none of our programs are gender specific. Anybody and everybody can learn to program robots and learn to program these machines. It doesn't take an extreme amount of strength. Like I told you, everything is done through these through the cranes, and all of that stuff is put in place. So on average, our plastics injection molding students are graduating making in the 20s. So if we take $20 an hour and we work 40 hours a week, you're looking at a work week making around $800. That kind of puts things into perspective for you. If you have a part-time job now, just kind of take what you're making now per week, and what you'd be making graduating from this program is about $800 a week, or $3,100 a month. So not bad money, especially starting. And that's, when we start off, that's the base of where we're going to be, and we're always going to go from there. One thing we're really big on is making sure.
Our Center for Integrated Manufacturing, built in 2015, this facility hosts the major. So
one thing we want to emphasize here is that we're trying to build careers, not jobs. Jobs are something that you just kind of work in, and eventually those fade away. But a career is something that you can build on, you can grow into, and progress in. Okay, so we always want to look at being progressive, especially in our wage making and our skills.
Our next program is going to be Engineering and Design.
My name is Steve Manos. I teach the Engineering and Design program here at the Southern Union State Community College. Basically, anybody who's making anything has to be making it from a drawing. This program lends itself to building science, architecture programs, mechanical engineering programs, and really anything that's in the design field, which could be even in landscape architecture as well. The daily life of a graduate would be an office environment, most likely, and so you would be working with computers and other engineers or architects. The program is a 5-semester program that leads to an Associates of Applied Science degree. Some students who finish the program decide to continue their education at other four-year institutions. There's a pretty strong demand for the type of person coming out of this program. I'm constantly having companies contact me looking for this skill set. An entry-level pay for someone from the Engineering and Design program would look at somewhere between probably $17 and $25 an hour. That's really dependent on the location that you move to. Being able to see something from creation to production is a pretty cool process. If you find that you're the type of person that likes to take things apart to see how they work, or you consider yourself creative, you may want to consider signing up for the Engineering and Design program.
As you go into this program, you notice that there's not all the equipment that we saw in the last one. This is a very computer-based program. And here it's a lot about learning the software and being able to manipulate the software to make quality designs. So you'll start off learning kind of basic CAD and learning how to be able to visualize that geometry in space, and then be able to work up to 3D designs and then into assemblies of parts. Once you get into the assembly of parts, in our third semester, we'll move on to doing 3D printing or additive manufacturing. So 3D printing is the process of being able to make prototypes of designs of parts. And then additive manufacturing is a term that you're probably not as familiar with, but uses a similar process to 3D printing. But in additive manufacturing, you're making final use products. So something that I could go and actually purchase from a distributor or at a store. So it's really neat to be able to think that you can be able to come up with a design, be able to produce that part, and then be able to use that part out in whatever task you're wanting to do. As we move to our fourth semester, we'll have reverse engineering that becomes a component of the program. With reverse engineering, you'll take an existing part, look at how you could be able to make that part better and how you could be able to modify it. Then we can go back to what we learned in our third semester and be able to make a new prototype for that design and see if our design actually makes our part more efficient. And then as we move to our fifth semester, we have another transformation to where we start looking at land mapping and being able to plot out neighborhoods as well as doing house plans. So a student going through this program has a wide variety of options when they're looking at potential employment. As we kind of walk our way around the outer side of our engineering and design lab, you'll see all the different types of 3D printers that we have. There's a number of different processes that you can be able to use with 3D printing, and we like to have our students to be very well versed in all of these because each student has different aspirations as they decide to go through the program, and we want to make sure that they are open to be able to go into any career that they see that matches up with their skill set.
Yeah, this is a very fluid field, so you could go in and become a drafter. You could be an additive manufacturer. You could work on that type of stuff, or you could go into the construction field. So it's wide open for you. Several different environments you could find yourself working in. Also, it lends itself to people who are creative. So if you've ever wanted to take something and generate it as a drawing and then watch it come to fruition, this might be a program for you. All right. Next up on our tour is going to be machine shop technology. And machinists kind of make everything, they're kind of the glue that brings everything together. So we've seen engineering and design, we've seen plastics injection molding. If we take a drawing or maybe a model created by our engineering department, we can bring that model over here and turn that model into, let's say, a mold for our plastics program. Well, plastics can't produce anything without molds, but these guys over here in our machine shop technology program, they can create those molds. So we kind of have a real cohesive and collaborative environment here at Southern Union. If you noticed, our engineering and design program was located, this lab was located right in the very middle, and that's because it's at the center of the hub of manufacturing. Everything starts with the design, and then it comes to fruition through machine shop and other various aspects of our programs.
As you kind of look right here to the right, you'll see a number of the simulators that we have. These are the same exact computers that you will see on the machines as we look at those in just a minute. But we like to have students to start to learn on the trainers so that if they go through and have any type of problems in their programs, they don't have to worry about crashing a machine. Again, these machines are very, very expensive. Some of them $50 to $70 to a couple $100,000. So we don't want to just go and, wreck a Ferrari on the first day that we start to drive. So same way with these machines. This is a learning environment, so we know that you will make mistakes, but with you'll be able to load in the programs, be able to do the coding, be able to load in the parts and the tooling, and know how to be able to make quality parts. You'll learn how to be able to do precision measurement. You'll learn how to use CAD/CAM software so that you can be able to make the designs and be able to write the code to be able to make the quality parts. People in this program, like Tyler was saying, can make the molds. Now that's going to be done with more of your manual machining for the most part. But with the CNC, you're able to replicate parts for a numerous amount of times so that you can have a consistent and quality product being distributed out to different individuals. This machine right here, this is a 3+2 axis, not a traditional 5-axis. We now, since we have made this tour, do have a true 5-axis machine that is in our lab. What that means when I say 5-axis, we have 3-axis machines that you saw earlier that are very similar to what you've probably done in math class before when you've been plotting out coordinates. It's not near as fun when you're drawing dots on the sheet of paper, but it's a lot of fun when you're able to go through and make a part and be able to put those points out there and make a quality product. As we move on, we have kind of our tool and die area. So this is going to be some EDMs right here. And then we also have a spotting press. And then outside of this building, we have most of our manual lab where you can be able to learn all the different components and making those molds. Molds can be very, very expensive, some of them running into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
All right, so next on our tour is going to be our HVAC program, our heating and ventilation, our air conditioning, refrigeration technologies program.
I'm David Burdett. I teach air conditioning, heating, and refrigeration here at Southern Union. It is estimated that in the next 3 years, there will be a shortage of around 40,000 heating and air technicians across the nation. It is often that I receive calls from companies looking for technicians, looking for help. One thing about an air conditioning and refrigeration technician is that they're never stuck doing the same task over and over. It's rarely repetitious. The entry-level pay for an air conditioning refrigeration technician can vary, but it's certainly not unheard of for students to make anywhere from $15 to $18 straight in their entry-level job. The highest income examples that I have witnessed from students leaving the program have come from self-employment. who had started their own company and showed me their tax return where they had actually paid taxes on $140,000 worth of income 3 years out of my program. Once you receive those degrees in Southern Union, you are eligible to take the state board test. It opens the avenue for you to own your own business. Once you receive a degree in heating and air conditioning, you certainly aren't bound to one area of the country or one area of the world. There's nowhere on earth that you go that there won't be some form of refrigeration taking place.
This is a program I went through several years ago. And one thing about being a heating and air technician is that you learn a little bit of everything. You become a jack of all trades. So if I graduated from this program, you're going to be expected to know low voltage, high voltage, single phase, three phase, control voltage. You're going to have to learn plumbing to route water away from your coil. You're going to have to learn carpentry in some cases because you're going to be expected to build maybe cabinets and everything for your units to set on. You'll have to learn ductwork. You'll have to learn thermodynamics, airflow, refrigerant pressures, pressure and temperature relationships, if you've ever heard of that in your science classes. When pressure increases, so does temperature. So those are things to keep in mind as well. This program follows a residential light commercial curriculum. So you're going to learn a little bit about the inside and outside units that are associated with residential that you probably have experienced in your own house or seen at someone else's house before. This is an air handler. So this is what's typically inside your house. It could be under your house. It could be in your attic. It could be in a closet. But this is the part that handles all of the airflow within your house. It's typically connected to your ductwork. Then you'll see this refrigerant line here, and this runs to your outdoor unit, which is your condenser and removes all the heat from your house. So we have this set up as one single trainer to train you on what Carrier, this is Carrier's flagship brand, the Infinity series. So we have it set up for you to be able to learn how to use and troubleshoot these systems relatively easy in one easy to navigate environment. And we have several of these trainers set up with different brand units on them for you to learn on. Another important aspect of heating and air is ventilation. So if you've ever been to one of those Japanese restaurants where they're cooking right in front of you, the reason they have these huge vent hoods is to suck all that carbon monoxide and all that smoke out of the room so you don't get smoked out, and it keeps the air nice and fresh for everyone to breathe. That's very important, especially in food industries and things like that. But even in our manufacturing industry, we need to make sure we're well ventilated. Other things you're going to learn in this program are going to be like how to work on small commercial equipment like this walk-in freezer we have right here. You'll also learn how to work with sheet metal, and you'll also learn how to work on ice makers and small chillers. The last thing I want to talk about in this program is the light commercial aspects of it. You will learn how to work on, this is a small chiller unit that's used to heat and cool this one area. So like I told you, the small residential units are typically using some type of refrigerant. These use a cold or chilled water supply to help cool the air around you. So you'll learn how to use all of these motor controls and things that you typically see in small commercial environments. Now, the really awesome thing about heating and air is that this is one of those programs where you can own your own business. You can become an entrepreneur. Not a whole lot of overhead is really involved in starting a heating and air business. It could just be a truck and your tools if you want to just get into service. And I can tell you from experience, because I am a heating and air guy, certified myself, you can typically make, let's say on one install, it'd be easy to make $3,000 or $4,000 in one day installing, or what we call a change out, swapping out an old unit for a new unit in typically a couple of hours. Owning your own business is a huge benefit. It lets you be your own boss, but most importantly than that, it really raises your wages significantly. Mr. Burdett, our instructor here for HVAC, has talked about a student who left here and within 3 years was owning his own business and showed his tax returns on over $140,000 of profit. So you can definitely make a really good living working for yourself with these skills.
Next up is going to be our welding technology lab. Within our welding department, you're going to learn all the different types of welding. So we're going to start off by doing some basic MIG welding, so gas metal arc welding. And then we're also going to start by learning how to read the blueprints. So by learning the symbols that are going to be needed whenever you're out in industry and understanding the blueprints fully, you can then be able to make sure that you're giving the proper weld to the piece of metal that they are tasking you with. As you go through this program, our second semester, you'll do shielded metal arc welding. So being able to use those electrodes and being able to fuse metal together. Then we'll also be able to have plasma cutting as well as oxyacetylene fuel cutting and going through how to be able to properly prep your metal to make a consistent and quality weld each time. As you progress through the program, you'll also learn how to do TIG welding as well as pipe welding. When you get out into the welding field and are looking to be hired, they're not just going to be able to ask you for your resume and say, all right, we'll hire you as long as you've been through some training. What they're going to look for you to do is actually be able to go through and pass a weld test. So if you cannot make a quality weld on the position or type of material that they are asking you to weld, they will not hire you. So the biggest thing that we task our students with is getting in that booth and being able to make quality welds consistently. We know that when a student leaves our program, that they're going to be able to have a very successful future as long as they be able to concentrate and focus while they're in our program.
All right. So the next program we're going to talk about today is going to be automotive service technology. Again, that's another one of those programs where it really lends itself to you becoming an entrepreneur, if that's a pathway you'd really like to go down, owning your own business, things like that. If you're interested in cars, if you're interested in using your mind to troubleshoot problems and help other people out, just know that there are several hundreds of thousands of vehicles on the road right now just here in America, and that number's climbing every single day. So more and more people are becoming drivers and more cars are hitting the road. The thing is, it's really hard to keep up with these technologies unless you have some type of education. So being able to work on these computers that control the cars is becoming more and more intricate. The evolution of the car, it's gone from just a gas combustion engine to a hybrid engine where it utilizes some type of electricity coupled with that gas combustion. Now we've got straight nothing but electric cars hitting the road right now. If we see the Tesla models that are becoming ever more popular and competitively priced compared to their gas combustion counterparts. So this program really gives you a foundation to build on. It gives you a good understanding of the mechanical components of a vehicle and how to work on those and how to service those. The career aspects in this range anywhere from being a service technician to being a parts supplier to being maybe a car salesman, all the way to owning your own business. So really and truly, the market is wide open, ready for you. And if you haven't been to a dealership to get your car serviced here recently, it's pretty expensive to get that stuff fixed. So tons of opportunities out there for you to make a really, really good living.
Our next program that we'll be visiting is mechatronics. So mechatronics is both a mixture of mechanical as well as electrical aptitude.
I am Chris Baker. I teach mechatronics at Southern Union State Community College. So mechatronics is the meshing of electrical and mechanical processes together using PLCs, electronic components, computers, the Internet of Things, and systems controls. In this area there's automotive, aerospace, medical, defense, mostly manufacturing, industrial manufacturing. In mechatronics, you could start off the morning working on electrical or mechanical robots, PLCs. You could be working on installing motors or maybe air processes or chillers, compressors. It's a very wide range. So anything that's mechanical, electrical, you have the potential of actually working on. For this area, most students, once they graduate, could probably start out somewhere in the $20 to $30 range, depending on what industry they join. This is a growing field. Companies are looking for smart, self-motivated, educated technicians.
So as you go into this program, you're going to start off by kind of learning the basic safety procedures that you'll learn in a manufacturing facility, and then moving on to being able to learn about basic electrical, how to be able to do AC fundamentals, DC fundamentals, industrial wiring. And then as you progress through the program, you'll start to learn about pneumatics and hydraulics and how all of these different processes work together to make our manufacturing facilities so efficient. We'll also learn about troubleshooting and learn how to be able to operate PLCs and robotics. This is a great program for that multi-skilled craftsman that's out there in these manufacturing facilities, keeping them running at their most efficient rate. And they're also going to be problem solvers, doing preventative and predictive maintenance, not waiting for things to break, but being always on top of things and seeing when they need to do preventative maintenance to make sure that things are going to be running at the most efficient manner possible. We also have this curriculum that is a part of our FAME program. Our FAME program is the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education.
I'm Aziza Hurt, and I'm sponsored by Golden State Foods as an AMT in the FAME on the Plains chapter. I heard about FAME on the Plains when I saw a banner at a Skills USA competition. My interest in the FAME program came from me wanting to expand my electrical knowledge, and by getting in FAME, I was able to learn more about the craft and also learn the manufacturing side as well. FAME is a technical program coupled with a professionalism boot camp type feel. The difference with the FAME program would have to be your ability to learn in the classroom and learn on the job. I go to work 3 days a week and I go to school 2 days a week. FAME will help me in the future with my career by giving me 2 years experience before I'm ever graduated from the program. I also will learn lean manufacturing and 5S. Going into a job, I'll know how to conduct my own safety meetings. I'll have a sense of professionalism that most people coming right out of college do not have because they aren't in those situations. With the traditional college experience, you're going to be paying money to learn a new skill. In the FAME program, you're going to get paid to learn a new skill, meaning that you're going to be able to work and make money instead of just purging money out at a college, not knowing if you're going to get a job after you graduate.
Mr. Nelson is going to talk to you just a little bit more about what all is a part of our FAME program.
Sure thing. All right. So our FAME program, like Eric said, Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education, is a technical program that turns technical education on its head and places work-based experience, work-based learning at the forefront. So when you apply to become a FAME AMT, if you're selected, if you meet the criteria, then you'll get sponsored by a company, and that company will continue with you throughout your entire degree plan here at Southern Union. The criteria to get selected for the FAME program is that you can't need remedial courses when you enter into the cohort. So that could mean that you need an 18 or higher on your ACT with math and English, or maybe you take the AccuPlacer and test out of needing remedial courses. So if you need Math 098, Math 090, or English 098, that's not going to let you qualify for the FAME program. It's very selective because it wants to push you through the program quickly and with your cohort. So what happens when you get selected by a company, and we have several companies, big name companies, Hyundai, GE Aviation, Pharmavite, Golden State Foods, Baxter, and Norbord are current members, as well as Roche and Posh, who sponsor a student. So they sponsor you, and you begin working that summer. You'll work full-time, 5 days a week, and then once the summer is over and the fall begins, you'll begin a 3 and 2. So 3 days at work, 2 days at school. You'll never have work and school on the same day. Everything works around itself. And it is a paid internship, so you will be making money while you're doing that. What it does is it really is grooming you to become a leader inside the manufacturing field. So if you have aspirations of becoming maybe even a plant manager one day, this would be a great program for you to consider. So it's going to start off by giving you those technical skills, or giving you the opportunity to learn those technical skills and apply those technical skills in the field. Also, we're going to teach you some soft skills and leadership skills to help you become a leader in this area. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, once you graduate from here, you have options. This isn't your terminal degree. The AMT or the technical degree is not the end of the road for you. In fact, there are several different pathways that open themselves up to you once you've graduated with that AMT degree. You might choose to go on and become an engineer. Engineers typically make, on average, about $70,000 a year starting, and they go up from there. You might pursue, that engineering degree at Auburn University, or maybe you want to take it even a step further after you finish the engineering degree and get that AMB, that Advanced Manufacturing Business Person. You take that and couple that with the technical skills and the engineering skills that you've already acquired, and you're looking at becoming a potential plant manager. The plant manager at Baxter Healthcare is making in excess of $300,000 a year right now. So plenty of opportunities for you to really progress yourself and upskill and really increase your earning potential throughout your career. Next up, we're going to look at, this is a secondary lab for mechatronics. Our mechatronics program is quite large. And one thing that we really want to focus on is PLCs, programmable logic controls. And this is what makes everything automated within industry.
You'll see a lot of it is controlled by computers, so you'll have to learn how to be able to understand the digital switches that are going to be involved and how you can be able to program these PLCs so that things work the most efficiently that they can. So we also, as you see right here to the left, have our mechanical trainers. So you will learn about the motors and how they are able to be aligned, and making sure that whenever they have a chain or some type of pulley that they are running, that they stay at a consistent rate so that things can work efficiently. As you notice, that's going to be a common theme, is efficiency. That's how Amazon and other companies are able to get packages to your house in such a short amount of time. And we always want things when we want them rather than having to wait on them. So the more that we can be able to have delivered, the quicker. That means the faster that parts are able to get to distributors and then out to our households as well.
If you understand how to program PLCs, you can almost write your own check in industry. The people who really understand PLCs and are able to program these robots are saving their companies millions of dollars by shaving off just mere seconds in the manufacturing time. So if you're into PLCs and you're into programmable logic, or if you've ever looked at coding or anything like that and been interested in that, this might be the field for you. And if you show an extreme interest in this and are able to apply yourself, I've heard figures thrown around by West Frazier that if you're really willing to get into PLCs and program these things and keep them up and running, six-figure incomes are not out of the ballpark for you. So in excess of $100,000 for someone who really knows how to program these machines.
In this lab, we also have our additive repair technician that's going to take a portion of these classes, and that's represented right here as well by this large 3D printer. So if you're interested in 3D printing as well as the maintenance of those printers, this might be a good option for you. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking with y'all, and please let us know if we can help in the future.